Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you'd like to support the channel, then there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, we're currently setting up for the first live show, so I will pass over to the panel so you can enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever's in there while I set up for the first live show.
It's just that you say it out of habit because you've said it a million zillion times. So when
but Slick, we are trying to redefine words though. We're using, like, instead of saying atmosphere, because that denotes spherical nature, I'm using the word atmos, intentionally moving off the word sphere, because atmos is actually a word. So the problem is that labels are associated with words. So because we use a lot of words that we were dogmatized with, we were indoctrinated with, it's hard to get out of them. So are you on about the use of the word belief?
Right. Well, see, you just stole my next point. I was just about to say the same thing about atmosphere. When you say the word atmosphere, it has that word sphere in it. That doesn't mean that you believe in a sphere or that you subscribe to a sphere. It's just that you've said that word a zillion times. So when you
when someone does say atmosphere, I always say, "Do you mean atmos?" Or I'm trying to get people to remove the sphere bit from the end of it. But it's the same point with regards to when we said about belief yesterday, and when I said, well, why do you use that word? Let me give you another comparison. Why the word, when you have a word that you don't, right? Let's go with the race card, right? The word nigger is generally frowned upon by pretty much everybody, so it's not in most people's vocabulary. All right, you do get your dickheads that do use it, and there are people within the black community that use it as a form of rebellion. But most people don't have that word in the vocabulary and don't use it. So that's why when I say, well, maybe don't use the word belief then if you don't have beliefs, because it does denote that concept of you have a view, right?
Well, that's my whole point. The thing is, that's the word that I'm talking about. I can't, if I'm talking about beliefs, I can't substitute it for another word that's acceptable to people. No, because I'm talking about beliefs. That's my point.
I take your point. I agree. I see what you're saying. I don't disagree. I do agree with you. But what we have to realize is that the bigger picture is all of these words. It's like television, tell-a-vision. It's literally, these words mean stuff, and immediately people associate with them. So just that one word on its own, belief, is just one of about 500 words that we all use that really we shouldn't probably use in this context of flat Earth, because it does lead us down a rabbit path.
Saying that and doing that though is two different things. It is hard, and we do slip up. I mean, we do our best, but undoubtedly we'll slip up every now and then. But you just got to explain that as you go, I suppose.
Well, yeah, because like I said, the point that I'm making is that I am talking about beliefs. I'm not talking about anything else. So to try to come up with another word, that won't work, because I'm not talking about another word. I'm talking about beliefs, period.
But the problem is when you use that word in reference to yourself, I don't believe in something. It's a double negative, isn't it? If you don't believe in something because you don't believe, you don't have beliefs.
But that's the point you're missing. I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm saying I don't have beliefs, period, at all. I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm saying I don't have them.
Would you agree with me that this is a moot point?
No, it's not a moot point. That's my whole thing. It's not a moot point at all.
So what's its significance?
The significance is that we live in a belief system. It's a heads they win, tails you lose system. No matter which way the coin is flipped, you lose. That's why I'm out of it, because I understand that.
I do get where you're coming from, Slick. I've got to. It's hard to explain though.
Perhaps the better way to describe your situation is, rather than use the word belief, if you contrast it with empiricism, like it's rather than say I don't have beliefs, because that sounds really arrogant. I interpret that awkwardly.
I don't care. No,
Perhaps if you
sleeping. Let me stop you before you go. There is no perhaps if I do anything. I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't need your advice to reshape
I'm not giving
what
advice.
I know. Yes, you are.
What-
You're telling me, hold on.
No.
You're telling me perhaps if you do this, that's advice. I don't need that. I
It's
know
not
what I'm
advice.
doing.
The word perhaps is a suggestion. It's not advice.
Okay. Don't suggest. I'm not interested in your suggestion.
Right, but what I'm saying is I have the same view that you have with regard to the beliefs, but I don't describe it as I don't have beliefs. I say I prefer evidence. It's the
Well,
same point, but it's the other way around.
Well, do what works for you. Let me do my thing my way. You do your thing your way.
I know, but my way doesn't cause problems.
That's too bad. Mine does. So what?
Okay, well, don't complain that the problems come then if you get the problems.
Listen, I'm not complaining about anything.
Really?
Really. Just because I bring up a point doesn't mean I'm complaining about it. I'm just bringing up a point.
Yeah, but I think what you're saying is the same that I'm saying in terms of the words that have meanings.
No, it's not. It's not what you're saying. What I'm saying is different than what you're saying. That's what you don't understand. You're trying to combine what we're doing, and we're not on the same page. I'm telling you that.
We are, but I don't think you realize it.
No, I don't think you realize it. Hold on, mine. You don't realize it, sleeping. You and I are not on the same page. I'm telling you right now, we're not.
But I agree with you.
Disagree, hey.
Hang on,
because
a belief.
Hang on. Like we've been talking about this now for like over a week, and it's not getting anywhere. Like it's sixth view.
Yes,
you've got a view, and then 10th man's got a view, and like that's just the way it is. I suppose. Like you know,
Slick. I agree with your viewpoint that beliefs are the enemy of knowledge and truth and the reality of the world in which we live. I agree with that. Because we agree with that, we are on the same page. The point you make, I agree with. The difference that we have within the point is that I present that viewpoint differently. I just say that I prefer evidence than belief. Know what I mean?
And
I know you disagree with that, but we are on the same page, whether you like it or not. I agree with you.
Right. And no, we're not on the same page, whether you like it or not. That's
I
what
agree
I keep
with
telling
you. We are.
Listen, I don't care what you agree with. I'm not interested in what you agree with. I'm telling you, we are not on the same page.
We are. I agree.
No, we're not.
Belief is about.
Listen, I don't care what you agree with. It doesn't matter to me what you agree with.
I agree. It doesn't matter what I agree with. The point is whether we're saying the same message, but we're using bad phraseology to do it or not.
We're not. We're not sending the same message. That's what I keep telling you. You're not listening to me.
You're saying you don't have beliefs. The opposing view to that is I prefer evidence. That is literally the antithesis.
Like I said, you have your way and I have mine. They're not the same. Now, you may disagree with me, and I hear that. But I'm just telling you, we're not on the same page. Because if we were, you would be getting the flack that I'm getting, and you're not.
No, because I don't use the word belief. I use the word evidence.
Can I jump in quickly?
Yeah.
Is the show going to be based on this again?
Or is it going to?
Because if it is, I'm going.
Sure. Listen, mine.
Conversation.
That's your option. If this conversation bothers you, yeah, I would suggest take off.
No, it doesn't bother me. Like I agree with what you're saying, Sue. So, but I just don't understand.
He doesn't care what you believe,
and that's fair enough. That's his prerogative. But I don't understand why this conversation keeps getting brought up. Slick doesn't want to keep bringing it up. He's said what he has to say, and everyone just keeps asking him about it. Like, why don't we just move on and start getting into, I don't know, like what we're here to actually debate about?
I think this is fundamentally linked to the subject. It's fundamentally important that we discuss beliefs and how they're formed, what they mean, how they're utilised.
Well, discuss it, right? But why do we have to have it as like a contentious point of sticking like argument?
Because it's contentious.
It does just feel like it's an argument at the moment. I believe
respectfully, it's only contentious for one guy. Everybody gets this belief point, but for some reason it seems to be contentious for one person, and I don't really get the point that's being contended.
That's why it's being contended, because people don't quite get it, and they keep asking him, in the face of him saying, I'm done with the subject.
No, I disagree. I think people understand the point he's making, but nobody's understanding why he's attacking people on the panel for it. Why? What's the what? Again, the question is, we all get the concept of beliefs, right? And we all understand that Slick's contrasting from that position. He doesn't have beliefs. He's rejecting that notion. Why does it have to go any further than that?
That's a good question, Anthony. Why does it have to go any farther than that?
Well, in this hangout, you started it by saying, "Can I just check something with these words that we're using?" And that's how it started back up again. But if you hadn't said that, then we wouldn't be having the conversation that we're now currently on.
No, this is the thing. This is the situation that's happening. Flat Earth has become a club, and it's a club that you're supposed to join. And if you don't join that
absolutely
club,
hasn't become a club.
Can I finish my point,
no,
please?
Not really. That's a false statement of fact. Okay. It's not a club. Everybody's got an opinion.
Hold on. I want to hear that. Go on, Slick.
Thank you. Yes, Flat Earth has become a club, and now the individual can't have his own thoughts because if he forms. Oh man, you know what? I'm not going. If you're going to let me finish, or what?
Be reasonable, Anthony. Come on, I want to hear this. Sorry, Slick. Go on.
Right. That's okay. Now, Flat Earth has become a club, and individuals can't have their own individual views or thoughts, and if they do, they get attacked. Because everything is supposed to be this big meeting place where we are of this community. We're of a movement. And my position is that the earth is not a movement. The earth is the earth. The earth isn't dependent on how many people get together and have an agreement and hold each other's willies, like you say. I'm not of that club.
But you're resenting what you perceive to be a club, and it's absolutely not a club. There are factions within FE that is detrimental in more ways than any baller ever could be by virtue of this desire to not be in a club. I'm going to call bullshit on your perception that there's a club. There absolutely is not a club. The only one club I know about is FE Core.
If you think that sick, then like I'm glad you're here. But why are you here if you feel that way? Right.
Well, listen, it's not a point of why I'm here. I don't ask myself questions like, why am I here? Why would I do that? Do you honestly think that I sit up and ask myself, I wonder why I'm here on this panel? I don't do that.
No, but you said you don't consider yourself part of a club, a Flat Earth club as such as, but you know, we're a group here talking about Flat Earth, you know.
So am I. I'm talking about Flat Earth too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your point?
I don't know. It just seemed a bit contradictory to me, but that's just the way I heard it. But yeah.
Right. But mind you, know where the contradiction may lie? With you. So you may think that the contradiction is outside of yourself when it might be with you.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with how you portray your like perspective. Everyone's perspective and everyone's reality is different. And that's why I get everything you're saying. So
I didn't say anything about everybody's reality is different. Those are your words, not mine.
Okay, fair enough.
What seems to be the case right now is that there's a manipulation going on, and it almost seems to be that it's the absence of what's the word I'm looking for? When you
when Slick tries to say something and then people try to understand it and try to make light of it, you keep dodging it back and making it. I can't explain like how you're doing it, but it's really confusing me.
Well, it might be because it's beyond your understanding. That might be the case. You have to consider that.
Well, it also might be the case that you're a
spiritual person, but
I'm just saying, am I right? I mean, let me ask you something. Am I right? I mean, isn't it possible that what I'm saying is beyond your understanding? Is that possible?
It could well be. And things that I'm saying to you could be beyond your understanding. It's up to the individual.
Okay. No problem.
Sorry, what were you saying, Anthony?
I think that we've got another Chris Monk in our hands, to be honest. I think this.
Listen, there you go again. Listen now, Anthony, that's the second time you did this. Now, first it was Dell. And
so am I not allowed to express my opinion?
Just let me finish. I'm just saying that's the second time you've pulled this stunt. Now you're trying to align me with somebody else instead of just let me be me. Don't try to pair me up with somebody and try to make me like somebody else.
Just 1 second, guys. Just 1 second. Slick. So Anthony fundamentally disagrees that Flat Earth is a club, but I shut him up so you could express that. right? He fundamentally disagreed. Now, he's doing the same. You fundamentally disagree, but you're interrupting him.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize.
Go ahead, Anthony.
So what I was about to say is that it's okay for Slick to challenge people on anything to do with him because he doesn't have beliefs, for example. And he doesn't want you to link him or associate him with anything because he wants you to back down when he says his position. However, when I want to express my position, I'm not allowed to do that. Yet Flat Earth's a club. And I'm beginning to notice a bit of a bully boy tactic here that seems to be Slick's way or no way. Now, Slick, you can respond. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what I'm responding to is the fact that you keep on comparing me with people. Like when you say I'm like Dell or when you say I'm like Chris Monk, that's a trick that I'm catching you in. And I don't play that game. So I'm stopping you in your tracks. I'm me. Only me. I'm Slick James. I'm not Monk, Dell, or anybody else you want to compare me with. And I would appreciate it if you didn't do that again. Can we have an understanding on that?
I'm entitled to express my opinion, regardless of whether you like it or not. If I choose to express my opinion and compare you or contrast you, that's my free will to do what I wish. I'm not being rude. I'm comparing you, and it's not a trick. I'm doing it to your face. So when you call it a trick, that use of the word trick implies that there's some underhand dark going on, and there's not. I'll tell you what I think if I feel it's merited. And there's a lot of things I think that might not be merited. But on this one point that I do think is valid, I'm prepared to express my opinion to your face so that there's no trickery going on.
Okay, so then I will have to accept the fact that you are going to compare me with people at will, regardless of whether I ask you not to do that or not.
You don't have to accept it.
No, hold on. I'm just saying. So we have an understanding. I asked you not to do it, and you said you're going to do it anyway. Do we have an understanding?
That's not what I said. Okay, I said that I am free to express my opinion if I feel it's valid or justified. And I will do that if... Like, I'm not afraid to say to Nathan, I don't agree with that, Nathan. I'm not afraid to say to John or Arwin, I don't agree with that. And if you think that I'm not going to say I don't agree with you on something, you've got another thing coming, Slick. It's a debate show. If you don't like the expression or the right to reply, perhaps you need a monologue channel.
I understand that, but the only thing that I'm talking about is this one subject. You telling me I'm like other people. You keep moving the goalpost. I'm only talking about that. What are you talking about?
Now you've just done it again. First you described it as a game, and now you're saying I'm moving the goalposts. Listen. I am expressing my experience with people that we've come across before that are either still in it or not in it anymore, and you don't know. And we've had this character before. Now, you don't like the comparison, and I understand that, but that's respectfully, Slick, your problem, not mine. If you act like a particular trait, I'm going to say what I think at the time. And if I'm wrong, but I'm still entitled to my opinion. And if you don't like that, that's your problem. And you can attack it, or you can just accept it. But either way, if I think that you're a bit like Chris Monk, I'm going to say it at the relevant time when I think that you've done enough to justify the comparison. And if you don't like it, tough.
Now, didn't I just say a little while ago that we are under the understanding that I asked you not to do that, and you said that you are going to do that at will? Didn't I just ask you, do we have an understanding?
And didn't I just answer you by correcting your misunderstanding that I'm expressing my opinion? I'm not doing what you've just described. I'm expressing my opinion, which I am entitled to do.
I understand it. Anthony, we have an understanding. I get it. I asked you not to do something, and you said that you are going to. We have an understanding. There's no problem here.
I didn't, Slick. Let's just correct the record. I said I would express my opinion when I feel it's justified. That doesn't mean I'm going to do what you've just described. I'm not going to deliberately piss in your face just because you think I'm being defiant. If I think that you behave in a particular way, I will say it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's the whole point of a debate.
Okay, we have an understanding, Anthony. I hear you. We have an understanding.
What do you think is the understanding?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. I have an understanding. I heard you. So my point is, I don't need to listen. Hold on. I don't need to keep going round and round on this.
I heard because you're using words that say and mean things, Slick.
Listen, didn't I just tell you we have an
Slick, if we have an understanding, I want to know what you think that understanding is. And if you're wrong, I'll correct you again. But then you said I. So if you now have the understanding, that's down to you and your business. It's none of mine.
Let me explain to you what the understanding is that I have. You told me that you are going to point out at will if you feel I'm being like somebody, and you're going to state your opinion about me when you feel it's appropriate. Am I correct?
No, I said that I am free to express my opinion at the relevant time I feel prevalent. And that's my right. I can do that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to piss it in your face the way you're describing it. It just means that if I have an opinion like gravity, I can and I will express it. I've held back a lot of opinions about you, Slick. Because there's lots of question marks about what's going on here. There's politics at play, and I've held a lot of them back. I haven't spat them out at you like Arwin's done, but that doesn't mean I'm not thinking them. But I'll be honest, I'm trying to work out where the common ground is. I'm trying to work out are we capable of having a coherent back and forth? And right now, Slick, I don't think we can have a coherent back and forth. It seems to be polluted with the minutiae of semantical arguments that ultimately, in my experience and with yourself, is moot. We're arguing over fuck all.
Okay, I heard your point. Now I understand. Now can you let it go?
I'd take that as a yes.
Sorry, what was it? I was just being spoke to in the background. What was the question, Slick?
I said, I understand your point. I heard you. Now, can we let it go?
I'd love to let it go, mate. I'm fine. Can we talk flat Earth?
Yes,
Yeah,
please. That would be
definitely.
good.
You can talk about whatever you want to. I'm going to do me. You do you.
Cool. Well,
as long as I don't express an opinion, though, right?
no, that's not what he said. He's just agreed. Come on, don't poke him.
Man,
Anthony.
you're being
I'm sorry. I'll retract my poke.
That's Anthony, right? And if you were to moan about that, Slick, I'd side with you 100%.
I would agree. You can moan about it, Slick. It was an unfair poke. I'm sorry. I retract it.
Listen, Anthony, what you don't understand is everything that you just said. I listened to you very closely. See, I got more out of it than you think.
Ooh.
And that's your benefit, sir. Good for you. I'm glad you listened.
Look, guys, I want to talk to Mind Warped now about what he said specifically about this topic, but not this topic in regards to you two. So you said, well, I don't see how it's relevant in terms of beliefs. And I said, well, this is extremely important, in my opinion. Did somebody just join and leave?
It looked like it was Paul.
Oh, okay,
He'll be back.
fine. I was looking at the other screen. It's very relevant because the world we thought we lived in was just a belief. So understanding those. Hey, Jose.
The earth is big.
Jose, how tall are you, sir?
Nathan, yeah, I agree with you. Beliefs are
No sound.
The
Try
thing
again,
that I was
Jose.
getting at was that,
Sorry, Mind Warped.
I was
I know
kind
you.
of getting sick
I'm
of
sorry,
My
Mind
uncle
Warped.
are short.
I know you're replying, but I just want to level up Jose. I'm going to start in 60 seconds. Can you say something, Jose?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just 6 foot tall, but my auntie and my uncle are very short.
Yeah, you look like you're about 8 foot on that picture.
You know, man.
Yeah, I saw that thumbnail too.
Just quickly, Jose, man, I wanted to say condolences on your loss, man. I hope everything's going all right, eh? And, yeah.
What's the deal? I
Thank
didn't
you, I
actually watch
appreciate
the
it.
video. I'm sorry, Jose. What's the deal?
Yesterday, early in the morning, I got the news that I lost one of my uncles from Cleveland, Ohio. You know, and then later yesterday, I lost one aunt from Puerto Rico.
Oh, I'm really
I mean,
sorry
it's
to hear
like
that.
back to back. One from my dad's side, one from my mom's side. Which one was the hardest than the other? Just a explosion of emotions. It's big loss for the family.
I'm really sorry to hear
The
that.
show
yeah,
must go on. Thank you. Yeah, it's all right. The show must go on. You know, they would have wanted that way.
Bummer. Yeah, no one wants to hear that. Our condolences.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, everybody giving me best wishes. It's good. It's appreciated. I feel the good vibes. You know. I just
good,
wanted
man.
to present a
You're
little
good
bit of
vibes.
footage, but I gotta run to the bathroom first, so I'm gonna mute myself. And
I'm going to start the live show now, so good timing. Thanks for letting the audience
Cool,
know
man.
that.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by Jose, Sleeping Warrior, Slick James Johnson, Ratty Flat Earth, Mind Warped, and Paul. Shout out to Colin Turner for hitting the super chat. Welcome, one and all.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Good morning. Good morning.
We're also joined by Eleanor.
Hello.
Definitely no swearing. Hey. Wife's gone out to get my newborn a birth certificate. So it might be a bit noisy for me. We shall see, hopefully.
The minute she signs that birth certificate, that child becomes part of the state.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, any evidence for curvature?
No, none.
Do you know what? There's points in this conversation where I just don't understand how the ballers have got zero critical thought. There are real valid points with how many things that they claim is curvature, and we're saying, nah, there's about 50 other things that can cause this. How do you prove that it's curvature? And they simply refuse to accept, like conspiracy cats, for example. He will not accept that the Earth needs to be manipulated in terms of its rotation to cause sunrise and sunset. Conspiracy cats is a physics teacher, and he will not accept that the scientific method needs to apply against the Earth to prove that the Earth does what they tell us it does. He just literally ignores it. Like, he's a physics teacher. If a student said that the amount of acid in a particular solution did something, and then didn't manipulate it to prove that the acid did something, he wouldn't allow that in class. Yet, when it comes to the shape of the Earth, that teacher seems to just dispense with the scientific method and apply his own sense of logic and reason instead, and then push his narrative. And when challenged, he claims that it's ridiculous because you can't manipulate the rotation of the Earth, which kind of is our point. Conspiracy Cats is a physics teacher teaching children the scientific method and applying it daily, but doesn't do it against the topic that he's prevalent in. And I've got to wonder why. Why would a teacher not do that?
Any other?
Have you heard of a new thing that I just saw today called the N gradient? Have you heard of that?
Oh, tell us more.
Oh, it was just something that the Rumpus was talking about on another chat that I've got added into. I don't know much about it, but I can hear they're saying it's just about N gradient or delta N measurement, usually measured in a 10 greater than 6 per kilometer refraction index of air to sea level. So yeah, I'll have to look into it, but yeah, it looks interesting.
It'd be really useful if they use that rather than 7/6R.
Yeah, there's a little document here I'll try and put in the side chat.
Good stuff. Right, axial rotation. Any signs of axial rotation?
Morning.
Hey, Chocolate.
Guys,
Sorry,
can you hear
didn't
me?
see you. How you doing?
I'm good. How's everybody? Somebody have me blocked because I couldn't get on with my regular account.
That's weird. But a couple of people
Yeah,
said
well,
that
you-
over the last couple of days that people have
I
not
don't
been able
think
to get on.
I don't think it was that. When I first tried to join, I couldn't get on either, and I just tried it again. Then I got on, so it might be just something with the link.
Be great if somebody from the audience could actually try the public link, so it's at the bottom of the info box as stated in the in the intro. But yeah, if somebody can join from the public, even if you just drop, just to make sure the link works okay, I'm pretty sure it should.
But if you do happen to join, make sure you bring some evidence if you think we live on a spinning ball.
Yeah, ideally with ball earth evidence. Any evidence of axial rotation?
Yeah, the stars, Nathan. 2 rotation points. Boom.
What about them?
Celestial
2 rotation
spheres.
points, Nathan.
Hey, James.
Both spin in opposite directions.
Car wheels.
No, they don't. No, they don't spin in opposite directions. All the stars rise in the east and set in the west, regardless of your
But you do
location.
accept that they rotate, though, right? Over 2 axial rotation points.
Axial rotation points. No, that would be a formal logical fallacy. If the Earth is a sphere, then we will see rotation points. We see rotation points, therefore the Earth is a sphere. If P, then
Yeah,
Q,
but
Q,
Nathan,
therefore P.
what else could they be caused by?
Well, a whole number of things. Maybe some scientific validity being given to the assertion and presupposition that Earth is a sphere with axial rotation points.
Nathan, ring laser gyro. Bob from Globebusters proved that the Earth turned with a fiber optic gyro, Nathan.
Well, number one, no, he didn't. Number two, the person who would assert such a nonsense would be assuming that Earth has a Coriolis effect due reference frames, the necessary part of that explanation.
That's a red herring. That's a red herring. I said that Bob Nodell proved rotation of the Earth with a fiber optic gyro. Address that point.
Yes, if you are to assert that Bob has proven that the Earth turns by way of fibre optic gyro, it would necessitate the gyro being in one fixed reference frame and the Earth turning underneath. The Earth turning underneath giving you your 15-degree deviation. Well, that means that you have the Earth turning underneath and therefore an effective Earth-based Coriolis effect. That's right, Coriolis effect that we don't definitely have, because otherwise plane travel would be massively reduced in one direction, and it's not. Helicopters would have the Earth rotating underneath them as they went in the air, and they don't. So there is no Coriolis effect. Hey, Jazzaconda? Can you hear us?
This is it. He might just be joining to test the link. Jazz doesn't bring anything to the contribution of the conversation.
I don't know. The other day he was very adamant on how well, besides that, he was very adamant on how the vacuum of space being a second law of thermodynamics violation was the worst argument for flat Earth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
he was actually saying that flat earthers should stop using that argument.
Oh,
and I was very curious as to why.
Can everyone shut up for a second? Can you hear us, Jazz?
I know. I was
Hello?
in reference to that. I was just saying that there's gas pressure, and please don't cut me off. There's gas pressure. That's what's in an air compressor.
Yeah, and what's the definition for gas pressure?
That's completely irrelevant right now because we don't have gas pressure on Earth. We have atmospheric pressure.
Sorry, we do have gas pressure. We definitely have gas pressure. We don't have gas pressure. We have atmospheric pressure. Is that what you've just said? That's nonsense. We do have gas pressure. Hey, Ron. How you doing?
Nathan.
Hold on one sec. Hey, Ron. Can you hear us? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Good to have you.
Nice to be here.
Go ahead, Jazz. We have gas pressure, but we don't have gas pressure. We actually have atmospheric pressure.
No, actually, Nathan, I'll let you carry on with your conversation. I'll go and have a quick. Oh no, if doing that's not appropriate.
Well, Jazz, you actually caught us in housekeeping, so and this happens to be one of the questions. I mean, we started this conversation the other day on Arwen's. I mean, we might as well continue it now, right?
Yeah, I'll ask the housekeeping question. No worries. Any evidence of gas pressure being maintained without the necessary antecedent of a container to press on?
Go, Jazz.
Well, it's been a number of years since I did my meteorological exams, but
can I from memory? Hang on. Rich from Thrive and Survive says that you don't need to do any formal academia to be a meteorologist. Can you demonstrate that you did actually take exams by showing us the course and the institution you did them at? Because I'm going to call bullshit on the basis that Thrive and Survive says that meteorology doesn't require any exams.
Okay. One, I'll leave that for a second because you just did a really You just did the opposite of what you're telling everyone to do by saying that, which is research for yourself. So by
no, you're making a claim, and I'm calling bullshit immediately before you go on, because on the basis that Thrive and Survive was a meteorologist in the Navy, and he said that you do not need any formal qualifications to be a meteorologist, and you've claimed that you've done exams. I'm asking you to demonstrate what course you took. I'd like to know what course it was that you took, because I don't believe there are any. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But does anybody disagree with my question? It's a reasonable question.
It's sleeping. It's a reasonable question, but do you know how many pilots there are in the world?
Right, red herring.
It's not a red herring, because every single one of them has to do the same course. And
a meteorology course.
That's part of your commercial pilot's license. It's meteorology.
Right, your claim was that you took meteorology exams a few years ago. So can I see any course that you claim that you took in an institution of meteorology or similar? Just tell us where it was and I'll look it up.
Well, you can go and do it yourself. You can simply go to your local aero club and look at what exams you need to do for your course, and you can get the textbook. I've got the textbook. If you want my email, I'll send you the textbook.
Meteorology exams in Australia, yeah?
Commercial pilot's license.
No, you didn't say that. You said you took meteorology exams. I want to know what meteorology exams you took, because I don't believe there are any, because Thrive said that he didn't have any formal qualifications and he was one. So I'm asking you to demonstrate
and that is part of the problem that I'm saying, which we'll get to in a minute.
Okay, well we are gonna come back to it, because I'm gonna call bullshit on that claim that you made that you've took meteorology exams, because I don't believe there are any. But carry on, we'll come back.
Oh well. In the meantime,
there's
Ron,
also.
Did you have something to present?
No, I don't have anything to present.
No, Ron.
As such.
No, Ron.
Oh, sorry.
Did you get that in Australia or in New Zealand? Because being in Australia, I can pick up a Kiwi accent.
Mind warped. Try that again.
Oh, hey, Nathan.
Did you have something to present, Ron?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
sorry. How many people on the panel are called Ron? Just one person called Ron?
Yes, sir.
So yeah. I'll try that a third time. Ron.
Yes.
Do you have something to present? Excellent, Ron. Do you have something to present?
Yeah, you'd asked me to come on and show my like Pontchartrain footage that I took.
Oh wow! Yes, please.
Let me.
I've got you presented now, so we're seeing your screenshots at the moment.
Nathan, I'll just mute myself for a couple of minutes if that's all right.
I get a little bit of footage to present also when I get a chance after the run.
Sure, no worries. Let me know when you're ready, Ron.
Okay, I've got it up on my screen. Can you see it? I'm using OBS Studio.
Yeah. We've got a white screen with two. Sorry, it's really noisy.
Okay.
I'm ready whenever you are.
All right. This was the day we got there. The conditions were terrible, but I just panning back and forth across the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway here, and I can pull up my map here in a second and show you where I was at. So the wind was absolutely terrible this day, but. As you can see, left to right, there is no apparent curvature. And there's one point where I showed the humps in the bridge. I know Soundly shows that video with the extreme humps where he's compressed it, but you can tell that is absolutely been manipulated by him.
Allegedly, it could just be an optical effect he's forced as opposed to physically manipulated. But yeah, just to get that in before you slander soundly. That's a bit of a tongue twister.
Can't slander a fictitious character, Nathan. Stanley doesn't actually have a persona he reveals, does he?
That sounded like
He's
something
like Tim Osman. He's just an omnipotent presence online that has no identity.
Oh, he's been doxxed though, hasn't he?
Has he?
Yeah.
So what's his observation here?
Yeah, talk us through it, Ron.
I was just panning across the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge as far as I can see. I can show you on the map here where I was exactly. I was a little over 3 miles away from it. I was over here at Fontainebleau State Park, standing on the end of this pier right here. I have my camera set up on this pier and panning back and forth across the causeway here.
How far away are you from the bridge?
That is a little over 3 miles.
And the furthest point that you could see the bridge, how far is that?
I'm not sure exactly how far I was looking, but I could not see the other side of the lake because the conditions were so bad.
Okay, there's no like markers that you can kind of see on there that you can get a rough point?
Ronnie, are you sure you couldn't see the other side because of the conditions? Because apparently the conditions are not part of the curve calcs, and that they're just one of the excuses that we use, regardless of whether it's there or not. I'm just saying that the ballers think that it's always curve.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So I've just spammed Ron's channel link in the live stream chat. So go and subscribe to him immediately. I posted the link to the live stream, so he actually hooked up his P1000 to, I presume, a phone and live streamed this. So although we've just had the top quality footage straight off presumably off the SD card, which is great, if you can make this full screen, even better. Brilliant. That's perfect. So you can go and see it done live. That's what the link goes to. But more importantly, go and subscribe to him.
I can't wait to get one of these P1000s.
I have some really good water tower observations that clearly show obstruction from refraction. Let's find them here.
So from the side view, that entire bridge looked level to you from over there? For that
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Where's all that missing curvature though? That we see, that outstanding curvature that we don't see.
Hold on, let's not make it sarcastic. So what Ron's demonstrating is that it's flat. Correct, Ron?
Oh no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, Ron.
Ron, you've been in the flat Earth scene for a few years, right?
Yeah, probably about 2 years.
I'm sure you're one of the first people I came across in flat Earth.
Yeah.
I seem to remember seeing your name because it's a very unusual surname. It just seems to stuck in my head, and I just recognise it. That's all.
Yeah.
I've seen Ron's name around.
Yeah, you present.
Good to have you here, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, you, Ranty, I think you presented one of my videos last year on here. The one I did of the boat going off in the distance, and looked like it was floating in the middle.
I remember. Yeah.
Well, then that's my bad. Since then, Ron, I've taken a bit more of a policy where if someone shows something, I go out of my way to actually spam their link and subscribe to them, etc., etc. So I was unaware of you, even though you've been presented on the show, so I feel now really guilty saying this. But this is Anthony's doing, so big shout out to Anthony. Anthony's been promoting other YouTubers in this Flat Earth club that we have and saying go and subscribe to them. And the reason is simple, because we don't get cross-promoted amongst ourselves, let alone out to the wider audience. So, we've got to share each other's stuff. So I'm now, thanks to Anthony, a lot more keen to, share and subscribe to people like yourself. So my bad for not doing it last time. Hopefully people who are watching right now, and I'll do it in the after show as well, will actually go and subscribe to you, and it will build up your channel even more, hopefully.
This is on my channel. I've been making these observations across this bay for over a year, in all different weather conditions. I always put my camera height. It's about 4.5 feet from the sand. I've got it muted. This is on my channel if anybody wants to go to it. But I've been recording the air and water temperatures. See, this picture is when I first arrived. That water tower is 17 and a half miles away. It's like it's floating above the water.
That's the same distance as Pontchartrain, right?
Yeah. The air is actually cooler than the water is. This is at 8:25 in the morning. I think the air was in the 60s and the water was in the 70s. But I did some time lapses. As the air starts to get the same temperature as the water, you can start to see the whole thing. And this, I can predict this when this is going to happen every time. If the air is warmer than the water or cooler than the water, you get the same effects or a variance of effects, but lots of mirroring and blockage happens when the air and water temperature are different.
How would you know the air and water temperature 17 miles away?
Well, I know where I was at, what the air and water temperature is, and this is a bay that is.
So you're giving the same value where you are to 17 miles away and using it as a guide.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just ordered a floating thermometer, which I'm going to start carrying out there with me to tell me the exact air and water temperature of where I'm at. But looking that far away, I don't have any way of knowing it out there. But I mean, the temperature's not going to vary that much. But like these docks, you can't see these at all some days. These are 6.5 miles away. Like the humidity and all affects it too, but sometimes you out there, you can't see these at all. It'll be a perfectly clear day.
On that image there, it looks like there's a little wave at the top that's on the water.
Yeah. Well, here's one of my time lapses of the water tower. You can see the water tower, this mirror line start to drop as the temperatures equalize. And then over here on this side, you'll start to see the roofs of those docks appear. And then say that when the temperatures get just right, you can see everything.
Do you have any tide effects there?
What's that?
Is there any tidal effects there?
Oh no, this bay has no tides. Well, it has I think the maximum tidal range recorded is 1.5 foot or something. But normally it's around 6 inches, the tides.
Check out a website called tidesforfishing.com.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jose. Any chance you can just scroll back a little bit to where that boat crosses past the water tower in the background? The first boat, not the second boat, the smaller boat. Sorry to be a pain.
Where'd it go?
While you're doing that, how tall is the water tower?
Looking at Google Earth, you can zoom down. As close as you can zoom, it says the eye height is 135 feet. I'm going to take my drone over there one day and fly it up and see if I can get an exact height on it. But
in excess of 100, in excess of 100 feet in actual size, feet and inches, 100 foot plus. Now, if you can scroll back to just where the first boat goes by, or this one, if you can pause this one when it gets in front of the water tower, just. Right, probably not quite so good because it's further away, but this is now a little teeny tiny boat that's obscuring something that's 100 foot in the background. This is an effective perspective because the angular size of the boat. Yeah, if you can scroll back, it's not a great example without the boat fully obscuring it. So there's a smaller boat going back a little bit. Keep going. My apologies to the audience for my kid being a bit noisy.
I think Paul has the award for the loudest kid in the background, though. I guess he's not listening.
What's that?
Hey, I resemble that remark.
You resemble that remark.
I was close, Nathan.
She's okay. She's actually gone out, I said earlier, to go and get a birth certificate.
So, when you get... If you can stop the boat so that it stops... you know that triangular sign that's in the foreground? If you could stop the boat when it passes behind that, I want to make a point if you would.
Okay.
Yeah, wait your turn. It's going to come up any second now.
It'll get to the sign before it gets to the thing, won't it?
Is it the first boat you're talking about?
Either boat will do. That boat's just as good because it's definitely not a 100-foot boat, right?
Oh, no, definitely not. It's probably 10 feet.
So yeah, this one will do if you can scroll it back a couple of frames just so it obscures the water tower. It's going to be one of them, isn't it?
Put it on quarter speed.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping warrior, just give me a cue and I can jump back in when you're ready.
So obviously, this boat in the near foreground is not in excess of 100 feet. Its angular size is considerably larger than the 100-foot tower in the background, which is reduced in angular size. Plot this into an Earth curve calculator or a misrepresentation of a flat Earth without perspective, and this boat can in no way obscure that tower. It's physically impossible if you exclude perspective. But, as I've just stated, given that the angular size of the boat is bigger, not feet and inches, not actual size that will not change with distance, 100 foot's 100 foot regardless of how far it is, but the angular size is massively variable depending on its distance, and the effect of angular size reduction with distance has simply been called curvature. Why is that tower smaller and further away? Oh right, that's because it's gone beyond the Earth curve, is it? No, it's just perspective, and here is an excellent demonstration of it. The boat is definitely smaller than the tower, but easily obscures it because it's larger angular size in the near foreground. Simple.
So Nathan, when Rumpus says things like, so an object's height, so in this case the top of the boat, Rumpus says that the height of that boat will always be of a certain point relative to the object in the distance because of perspective. Are you saying that Rumpus has got that wrong? Are you saying that actually it's because of perspective where the boat, even though it's smaller than, it can appear bigger than, and that's not a relative thing that he's describing? The way he describes perspective and the highest point of the boat compared to the tower is clearly wrong, because the highest point of the boat is going to be smaller than the tower, yet the highest point of the boat is bigger than the tower in the picture. That's perspective. So when Miles Delay Davis, I don't even know if he's still around, but when he was making that point about something law, Traprain law, his point was that the mountain peaks can only ever be lower than the thing in the background because it's lower in height. No, depends on how close it is to you. The closer it is, it's going to be bigger. Its angular size is going to be bigger. So again, they've found a way to wiggle this to make it sound credible, but the reality is perspective does behave the way we say it does, not the way that the ballers do.
Can you tell me the distance to that tower, please? I'm just trying to work out. Sorry, it's what?
17.5 miles.
Okay. I'm just going to work out its angular size.
How tall is the tower?
I said I think it's around 135 feet. If you go on Google Earth and zoom down to it, that's the lowest you can get for the eye level. I'm going to take my drone over there one day and fly it up there and see exactly the height. But
oh, perfect. Can you pause this boat? Pause this boat. This is brilliant. This is excellent, because this will almost obscure it, right? Yep. This one will obscure the tower. There we go. Oh, no, not quite. Oh, well.
Could you tell me the name of the tower, please?
Yes, I can show it to you on the map. It is... find it.
Yay.
Hey, Owen.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, Nathan. Chocolate.
Oh, I'm really
This is the bay here. This is called Chalk. This is called, wait, that's the wrong one. This is called the Choctawhatchee Bay. And this water tower is, I can show you the address. It is on Beacon Way Road.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And that is in Miramar Beach, Florida. And I have clear pictures. You can go down. I've showed this in some other videos. You can actually do a street view here.
Can you show us where you was taking images from?
Yeah. But you can do a street view and you can see the colors on the tower. So where to go? There's tan on the bottom and blue on the top. I've got clear pictures of this tower from
while Nathan, while we're on sorting this out, this Sleeping Warrior, I want to talk about the navigation side of things.
Damn, I really don't want to get. I don't want to be like an ass, but I really wanted to present a few videos because I gotta jump out.
This is where I'm viewing it from, right here. This is, I forget the name of this park. See, it's
cool.
Garnier's Beach Park. It's in Fort Walton Beach.
Absolutely excellent. This has been epic. I was just saying in the chat, this is great. I know Jose's on a bit of a tight schedule. Are you okay to hang fire just for a little bit, Ron, while Jose presents?
Yeah.
Thank you. And in case it doesn't get said, again, really, really appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you very much indeed, Ron. As I say, subscribe today if you're watching this. Okay, Jose, I've got you up.
Thank you very much. First, I want to share this link. It's called tidesforfishing.com. And you scroll down all the way, and I'm going to give you a map. And you can plug in by state and then by areas. And you go on the top of the page, and it's the best website that will break it down for you, all kinds of information about everything on the area you're looking at. Visibility, temperature, humidity, the temperature, water versus air. I mean, it just break it down so good, the waves, the winds. So anybody can check it out, tidesforfishing.com.
What made you start looking at that?
Oh, since you start doing observations and talking about the tidal bores and the tides and all this kind of stuff, I started paying very close attention to the waves and the behavior of the water and the temperatures. Really good stuff. Really good. I like it.
Good.
Okay, I got 2 pieces of footage to share over here.
Jose, real quick, I just wanted to say condolences to your fam, bro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, tough day, emotionally broken, but the show must go on, man. First, this one is interesting. I think Ranti will appreciate this. This was last week. Massive inferior mirage. This is a short clip. I think I uploaded the raw footage. There comes a boat from left to right, fast, and we get that effect of the reflection of the boat in the back, in the front of this one. And he did it perfect because that one boat slowed down in the right moment. And look at that. Look at the boat sitting in the back, and look at the boat in the front. Look at it's mind blowing. Beautiful thing to look at. Is that cool or what?
Jose, do you think that that's the curvature of Earth that's obscuring the bottom of the boats?
No, not at all. No, have nothing to do with curve. It has to do everything with that optical phenomena on the weather, whatever mirage is going on. It's just a beautiful thing.
Would you agree with me that Would you agree with me that the effects of perspective that we're looking at down the lens of the camera, whatever these effects are, you can call it whatever, reflection, dirtier, whatever, doesn't matter. But would you agree that these effects that you're pointing out right now don't appear in any of the curve calcs?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure about the question. Really good. Look at the birds in the right hand side right here.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to corner you against Rory, who thinks that perspective is calculated for or accounted for in the curve calcs, and we all know it's not. But I just wanted to see if you would support your colleagues when they agree with us that perspective is not accounted for in the curve calcs.
Yeah, I haven't. I never either push or pull in favor or against the curve calculator. I'm more of this approach. Take footage and let others bust their head and break their brains figuring out what's going on,
For the benefit of the audience, that was Jose wiggling his ass like a bitch.
No. Hold on. Before the ridicule sets in, have we got more to present, Jose?
Yes. I got two more clips. This was the same day last week, and this is a beautiful. And the same day, water was so calm. There was no waves. It was early, about 9 in the morning. The air was actually a little colder than the water by about 10 degrees. And then look at that mirage. Where those palm trees are, the palm trees in there, they are about 6 miles away from me. Oh, I'm standing at 6 foot above the water. I'm just standing on the low tide sand and the wet sand, and I got my tripod, the 6-foot tripod, like right in my face. So the palm trees are about 6 miles away, and the buildings are 11 miles away. And then I don't see the bridge. There's like a bridge across where the palm trees are. Not a bridge, like a street, a low street. And I don't see none of that because
it's because it's probably too small to see, because the bridge itself reduces in angular size to a point, and then you can't see it anymore because it's too small.
No, right now it's just this massive mirroring effect that's going on that is hiding all of that. I mean, I don't even know if we were able to see it or not, but you know what happened? I went out yesterday to relax my mind, to just breathe the air and just think about pretty things. And I took the jet for a ride. And I took the same footage, and it was no mirage whatsoever, no mirroring. It was perfection. And this is what I'm going to show you right now. The same footage with no mirroring, no reflection. So we got, this one is the one that I'm from last week. And then I got here the one from yesterday, and I'm going to hit play on it. Look at that. Now, yesterday, this is it. It was about 2 p.m. It was about 15 degrees difference. The water was hotter than the air, the same inversion of temperatures, but it was about 15 degrees difference. It was windy like a mother, and it was a little shaky, the camera, because of the wind. But then look at the cars. You see the cars crossing by. You see the street. You see where the palm trees sit. You see the avenue. You see the whole thing. You see clear. Yeah, I mean, I see the cars driving by.
Where's the bridge though that you? Where's the bridge? Jose, where's the bridge that you were pointing?
This is about 6 miles away.
No, can you see the bridge in the imagery?
Oh, it's a street, a low street. I can see over here. It's a little darker, so I guess this is like the trees, a little bit of a trees around the bridge. But I can see the cars driving.
So what I'm saying is, if you can't see the bridge on this occasion, perhaps the bridge is too small to see, and that's the reason why you're at the point where it is too small to see. Even though you know it's there, you just can't see it, right?
Might be, yeah, might be.
Do you know the height of the bridge there, Jose?
Well, I look in Google Earth and it's telling me 5 foot, but a 5-foot bridge is very inaccurate. That's my opinion, because this doesn't get it doesn't get blocked by the water. The tide fluctuates from 1.5 to 2 feet, but the water never get that close as for the bridge. I don't think they're gonna construct a 5 foot above the water bridge. This is a BC, little highway from one little island to another, the little land in Florida.
Okay, and what's your elevation with the camera?
6 foot. 6 foot. Like getting my foot almost wet in the water, and me standing at 6 foot. Tripod in my face right there.
You already looked at the curve calcs on that. I mean, should you have seen those cars?
I have not. I have not looked into it. Let me put a side by side right here, really quick.
Suck it and see, right, Jose?
Huh?
Suck it and see.
It's about the same. It says it should 4 feet should be hidden. Yeah, seems about right. But then again, 4 feet is negligible to flat. Let's be honest. Over 6 miles.
So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of parallax on yesterday's. I was standing maybe 20 to 30 foot to the left of where I took this image, but it's exactly in the same beach, it's in the same distance, same maximum optical zoom, 83 times in the P900. I zoom in all the way, poop, until it stopped before I go to digital.
I think what's really interesting in that is it's showing that the inferior mirage is actually starting probably around about at least halfway up the trees is where the inferior mirage actually starts. So you are losing all that bottom stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the cars that would be there, the bottom of those trees, everything that you can see just normally are all hidden by the start of the inferior mirage, which is exactly what I've found as well, to be fair.
Yeah. Before I got there and I zoom in, I step out the car and it was burning. It was so hot. It was like almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit, I was like, damn, it's going to be such a bad mirage and the wind is going to be nasty. But then when I zoom in and I see, like, holy cow, it's clear. I can see like the whole thing is like, I see no reflection because I pan around to everywhere and I took a couple different clips. and it was really good. It was just windy, you know.
That's actually been stretched as well, stretched down. The inferior mirage, it stretched everything from above the center point. Actually stretched everything down.
Yeah, and you can see the little parallax with the palm. Like, let's say this set of palm trees is a little more to the right in this one, etc. You know.
Was this one on the right, the third video, or is there another one, Jose?
That's it. Let me get both videos zoom out at the same time. They're coming in now, so you can get an idea of, you know, kind of the same thing. And I'm done.
Excellent. Again, massive thank you. That was ace. Thank you very much for sharing that, Jose. Really appreciate it.
Just before you go, Jose,
I just
what
want
do you think
to
of the...
nearly done. So I've spammed Jose's link also, so I'll do it again now. So go and subscribe to Jose.
Jose, what did you think of the Pontchartrain side profile? You know, the orthographic profile that's meant to show like a load of curve. It was presented before. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you think that it looked Did you think it looked bendy?
I'm gonna throw copyright phrase by Jeran. Interesting.
So I'll take that as a no then in that context. It didn't look bendy.
Just so you know, Ron, during that presentation there was a bit of background noise coming through, so I popped you on mute just so you're aware. If you did want to present some other stuff, you're more than welcome to. But you just need to take yourself.
No, I'm good. Thank you very much. I just want to share because I like, you know, still using the P900 like as much as I can, and any little piece of footage that I can upload for anybody to take a look and figure it out. I'm always going to do that.
Well, thank you, Jose. I know you have got limited time, but thank you very much for sharing it. I really appreciate it. So yeah, Ron, I popped you on mute just so you know.
Okay.
Did you have other things you wanted to present, Ron?
If you want to see the rest of this water tower footage I took.
Whatever you've got, definitely. I'm more keen than ever, mate. So yes, please.
Yeah. Totally awesome. I'm real keen to see what the Sleeping Warrior thinks about navigation after that. That'd be great.
You do realise that the point that you're looking at was to do with meteorology exams that you claim that you took, right? Not to do with navigation.
No, meteorology and navigation. I stated that. If you didn't understand that,
you didn't. You said meteorology. You said your words were, "It's been a few years since I've done my meteorology exams." So I'm asking you, what were the exams that you did? Because as far as I'm aware, there are no exams for meteorology.
Do you actually? You just stated right then that no commercial pilot or ATPL or airline transport pilot in the world studies meteorology.
Did anybody hear me say that the airline pilots don't study meteorology? Did anybody hear me say that?
No, but I did hear that they would say that let Ron finish his presentation first, and then you guys can go at it.
I'd agree with that, Runty, if you don't mind. Sorry, Jazz. Yeah. I know you got into it first, but yeah.
Meteorology exams is why in the world would you think? Why on the flat Earth would you think that?
Right. Ron, on you go.
Muted you. Please don't mute other guests. Look, you can control guests with words, not muting them. I know I had to mute Ron, but it was because he was making background noise. But you're on now, Ron. You presented to the audience, looking beautiful.
Okay, y'all can hear me. Y'all can see my screen.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is just I was doing time lapses to catch the mirror line actually going away here. As today, you see the top of this dock start to appear over here on the right. This dock is about 6.5 miles away. And then there's a shorter dot next to it. You'll also start to see it appear in a minute. But you can see as the mirroring stretches the water tower down closer and closer to the water. And then you'll eventually see this mirroring go away and see the actual stem of the water tower.
Is there an inlet near, from the ocean into this lake?
Yes, this is on right next to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Do you feel that, in that narrow bottleneck, do you ever see any effects of the tidal push as it comes in and recedes?
Like I said, This is called the Choctawhatchee Bay. You can look up the tides on it. The tides are normally only about 6 inches.
Yeah, not just the whole. I mean, they measure that off the whole elevation during the lake, but in that narrow funnel, right next to where you're filming, you've got all that water pushing in through that very, very narrow gap. You're actually filming across that.
Oh, yeah, filming across the.
So as the tide comes in, you're going to see a lot of water pushing through in that very narrow area. I was just wondering if that contributes to some of the blockage that you see.
That could.
Do you know what that's called?
I've been looking at the temperatures. Like I said, especially here in the wintertime, you can catch it changing like this. In the summertime, you go out here probably every day and not see any of this ever because it's too hot. The air temperature gets well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer here and 100% humidity. It's just impossible to see this stuff in the summer.
Exactly. The other thing I noticed is that there appears to be. All right, ignore me. No, yeah. All right.
No, go. No, you go ahead, Sleeping Warrior. Go ahead.
Well, it looks like the thing that's on the far right hand side. The two, I'm not sure what they are, but one's got a white roof, and them two things there. What are they?
Those are boat docks behind people's houses. These are people's houses on the bay, and they have.
Oh, they're in the foreground, are they?
Yes, they're 6 miles away.
Right, I thought there were some kind of structures in the real background. It's okay, carry on. I was gonna say, are they being compressed?
No, you know what I think's happening? I'll be honest. I think the tide's pushing in. I think it's causing artificial bulging in that location as you film across it, and then as the tide turns and stops to have that push, that's when you actually see things drop, and you can actually see things in the distance.
Didn't he say there was very little tide?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. There's only half a meter of tide. So, but you've still got all that tide pushing through that bottleneck right next to where he's filming. So
I can't familiarise. Do you have Google Earth up, Branty, at the moment? Can you show us the bottleneck? I'm not familiar with this area.
Hang on.
Ranty, Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, and Nathan, do you mind if I just jump in here real quick?
You keen? You keen?
So obviously, this is where you're filming from, isn't it? Fort Walton Beach.
Yeah.
And this is where the tide comes in. The tide pushes in through this little narrow gap here. So let me just put a line in. So it's pushing through this bottleneck there, and you're filming across that.
Ranty,
have you thought that maybe that's causing any kind of...
Sorry, I didn't get you on screen quick enough. Sorry, Ranty, I didn't get you on screen quick enough. Can you just show it again?
Oh, sorry. I want to go to that. Yeah, I'm just saying that this is where you're filming from over on this beach here, and you film into the tower here, and you're filming. The only way in to this lake is through this little narrow opening here. So you've got all the ocean trying to force, as the tide turns, causing some sort of localized bulging, I would think, in this location. This is the bottleneck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that something worth considering?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Ranty, Sleeping Warrior, and Nathan,
you can see also,
if I jump in here just real quick?
You can also see the sedimentation around the exhaust or the valve as the water goes through. You can see the sedimentation, which reduces the shallowness of the water, and that creates more pressure going through that point. But anyway,
all I can hear is Jazz heavy breathing.
Depends on whether the run's finished.
Jazz, all I can hear is your heavy breathing.
Sleeping Warrior, do you mind if
I didn't really want to hijack the point there. Sorry, Ron. I have to apologise. It's just
Nathan, Sleeping Warrior, do you mind if I jump in? All good.
Sorry, Ron. Could you do we see the whole tower?
No, Jazz.
Why is that, Owen?
Oh, for the love of God, you're not picking up on the subtlety of people ignoring your repeated asking if it's okay to chime in. Is it relevant to what we're talking about right now? I'm willing to bet a pound it's not, and it's specifically...
Relevant.
Haven't finished.
Haven't
finished. I'll eject you if you interrupt me again. I'm willing to bet a pound this is about you, isn't it, Jazz?
No.
So it's about what's on screen. It's specifically about what we're talking about.
We're talking about the water flowing into the sound, which is what we were just talking about. That's
fine.
why
I take it back. I apologise. Go ahead, Jazz.
Ranty, Flat Earth, you just brought up the slowing of the flow going into the bay, and
Jazz, just back off your mic a little bit. You're popping more than our windows.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
I don't pop anymore.
Oh God, this is going to be an eternity, isn't it?
No. No, you'll be able to learn something from this. Randy, Flat Earth, we were just talking about the ebbs and flows into the bay, into San Francisco Bay. That's actually called the Bernoulli's principle.
Okay.
And you can look that up on
How is that the Bernoulli principle? I'm going to call you on that. That's not. I can't see an obvious Bernoulli principle application there.
Well, it's the same thing. When you compress, when you confine a fluid between a bay, like the Bay Bridge and whatever the East Bank is, I don't know what that's called. It's the same thing. When you confine an airflow or a water flow, and water is considered as liquid in aviation, not flat, it will speed up when the area is confined. It will speed up, and the dynamic pressure and static pressure will drop. That's what creates
where will
lift.
that pressure drop?
That's what creates lift.
Right. What's the problem, Anthony? He's right.
So if it causes slip, are you saying it causes a vertical increased height in the liquid, in the water?
That's why an aeroplane's wing creates lift, because the camber of the wing.
That's the correct application of Bernoulli over a wing of a plane. But what I'm asking is, where's the lower pressure in this instance? Because you've claimed it's a Bernoulli effect, and I'm asking you to explain where the low pressure it is.
No, he's
the low
right.
Pressure, the low pressure is above the wing.
I've got to chime in, because otherwise this will take forever. He's right. So if you force water through a hose and the hose becomes more constricted, it will increase the pressure and flow faster.
That's right.
So it's like putting your thumb over the end of a hose.
But that's not the Bernoulli effect, though.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
The Bernoulli effect is the high pressure causes a low pressure, which you see with the lift of a wing on a plane. But in this context, where do we see the low pressure? And how is it comparable to Bernoulli?
No. The low pressure is above the wing.
Give me a second.
I agree with you on the wing.
I'm just going to look it up and read it.
It's the causation of a low pressure in a high pressure situation. We agree that the water going through creates the high pressure, but where's the Bernoulli effect in play?
The Bernoulli effect is creating a low pressure above the wing. The wing isn't lifting itself into the air.
I agree with the wing.
It's sucking itself into the air.
Hey, guys, one thing. Just before you go on, can I just get clarity? So you're actually agreeing that the principle's correct and that there will be a localized bulge in that location?
No, that's not what he's claiming. He's claiming that the increase will be a speed increase. So the velocity of the water would have to increase as it goes through the channel. Well, as an adverse effect of that, I would argue, and so does your scientist you have a citation from, or whatever he is, professor, that causes an increase in the level, which makes perfect sense. It's not constricted, it's not going through a tube, so it can, it's not just going to increase velocity, it's also going to raise slightly in height, which is precisely what does happen, and Ranty's point, and this is supporting that point. So the Bernoulli effect would just increase speed if it was going through a tube, but it's not. It does have the ability to be to relieve the pressure in a different way, and that way would be to spread out and become higher, rather than just increasing velocity.
It's two-sided, Nathan.
Nathan, that's what I was just saying about the bay in San Francisco.
Yeah, you're agreeing. You're agreeing with Ranty.
That's exactly why.
Yeah, you're supporting Ranty's point. Great. I agree. And Ranty's right. And yeah, the Bernoulli principle. Yeah, great. Wonderful.
Holy
Jazz, please back off from your microphone. You're breathing down it and constantly interrupting people by breathing.
Sorry, mate. Sorry about that.
Right. So back to Ron. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Ron? Because I know we've cut you off halfway through and you've been good enough to come on at my request.
Oh, no, I'm good. I was just showing that. I've got tons and tons of this stuff on my channel.
Can I add something to the hose argument?
Of course you can. Who is that?
Right. You were asking. Yeah. You're asking where the low pressure is when the high pressure is in the hose. The low pressure is when it comes back out of the hose. It's going to drop again.
Sure.
Perfectly correct.
I think we're all in agreement for once. This rarely happens. So, yeah, great.
Can we spam Ron Hagbird's channel again, please, Nate? Because he has a ton of observations there. I'm seriously jealous that he's got these beautiful shots right now, because I can't see anything. It's total white out here. So if you like my stuff, go over to Ron. He's got exactly the same.
I just got my P900 back from getting it converted, so I'll be coming out with a bunch of infrared stuff too soon. So y'all look out for that.
Oh wow! You're saying it's coming back or back? Did you say?
I just got it back 2 days ago.
Oh wow! Have you used it already?
Yes, I've done not long distance. I've done some shots just around my neighborhood and stuff with it. I've done some time lapses with it.
All the more reason to go and subscribe today. So as I say, I've just spammed his chat. How do you pronounce your surname?
Yeah, that's my actual name, Ron Hagberg.
Hagberg. Ron Hagberg.
Hagberg.
Go subscribe today. Link in the live chat.
Anyway, sorry, Nathan, thanks for having me anyway, and everyone else, all you guys, Paul, Ron, Randy, Arwen. I got to go. You guys have a good one.
No idea why you were sorry. For the first time ever, you supported our argument. So thank you.
I wouldn't say that, but
I would. Thank you very much.
Catch you later.
Thanks, Jazz. There's now a gap on the panel. We're going to round out in the next couple of minutes. And then
with that,
shout out to the meteorology exams that you probably didn't take.
Now, what's interesting is that when you actually now bring up these effects that you obviously see and work out over plenty of observations and things, you actually start looking into it. When you actually do that, you get people agreeing with you. The Globers, they have to eventually, because it's so damn obvious, that if you're filming through a very narrow channel, you're going to get some kind of vertical lift on the water. It's just obvious.
Cool. I'm going to plug my own channel. So yesterday we did a very, very long after show, and Slick very involved, Ebon Kim very involved, John very involved, Anthony very involved. Oh, that's John now, is it? His name mentioned. Hey, John.
Hey, I want to ask Jazzaconda something before you close out.
You want to? Well, I'm just literally about to. You're gonna get the last point. Then I was gonna make a different one, but you go ahead.
Yeah, I had to come on, man. Jazzaconda said water is considered liquid in aviation. That's what he said. Right? Is he still here?
No.
No, he left.
Oh man, what the heck? No one called him on this.
I'm not in aviation, and I consider water liquid.
I wanted to ask him what they consider pillows in aviation. Are they walruses?
I was.
I'm kind of sad I didn't hear that now. I wasn't listening to that.
It's just a convention.
So the hard thing with Jazz is he's half cut most of the time, but even when he's sober, he sounds half cut. So you don't know which jazz you're getting. Are you getting the half-cut jazz or are you getting the dopes jazz? But either way, it's going to be a boring conversation.
I'll reiterate John's point. So this convention that's been contrived that describes both liquids and gases as fluids is simply a convention, a contrived convention, and to extract out of it that in his example they are the same is not true. However, doesn't make any difference. He's still supporting our argument. So either way, but John is correct. He was wrong to use that contrived convention.
I don't think he was trying to use that. It just came out of his mouth. I was dumbstruck. I don't know. I consider water. I got a glass of water right here. I consider it liquid. Am I an aviator?
I wonder what industries don't consider water to be a liquid.
Water's definitely a liquid.
Eskimos.
Well, no, they experience it as solid form, though, don't they?
Oh man, I just woke up, man. Why did you ask pertinent questions on this panel? Would you get ballers on here Ask them about Lake Pontchartrain. Ask them about the elevation levels at the ends of the shoreline of the bridge, for crying out loud.
You still got your map up, Ranty?
Yeah.
I'm gonna extend the live show slightly. Lucky old you. So while Ranty does that, I'm gonna present him. So I'm gonna tell the people of the audience to go and subscribe to my second channel. So for the first time, the after show had almost as many views and considerably more comments than the main show did. So that's on Nathan Oakley channel, and that channel's been I hadn't really noticed that it's grown quite considerably without me even realising it, and now it gets quite a substantial number of views on the extended after shows, especially one of which was yesterday. So thanks to everyone who stuck around for the 4-hour epic that was that after show. It was great. It was really, really interesting, but it's getting lots and lots of views. So if you're enjoying the show, immediately go and subscribe to Nathan Oakley, because it's more of the same, and it's exclusive material in terms of the after show and pre-show that goes out there. So check it out. Also, when this live show ends, the next live show will be broadcast for only the period that it's live on the second channel. It then goes out with the after show and pre-show on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so I can have a weekend off and do Ballbusters on Saturday, sort of a weekend off. But nevertheless, so it's well worth subscribing to the second channel. Check it out. So, and Anthony, Ranty, can you zoom in to each side of the lake and just show us the elevations? We've just about got them on screen from you. They're teeny tiny, but...
However, and I will say, it's not my argument, this.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just want you to show that on this side of the bridge, you've got an elevation of, what is it, 1, 2...
1 metre.
Yeah. And then if you go to the other side, and then John will make the point, and then I'll round out the live show. And as he's doing that, I'll say stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley, as there will be an after show to follow. There you go, so you can see it. What is it? 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. Okay, John, mic's all yours, and then we'll round out.
Yeah, so they're saying that Soundly's bridge curves. I mean, this causeway is physically curving, dropping. So I fail to see their argument here. One side of the bridge is 1, 2, and 3 foot at the shoreline. The other side of the bridge is 1, 2, 3 foot on the shoreline. It's flat. The elevations are the same. That's the definition of level. So how do they get curve out of that?
There isn't any. It would appear that Google Earth represents the Earth as we experience it. That is flat.
So Google Earth represents, or it renders it flat, correct?
Yeah, when you go into the lower scales, when you get closer, as opposed to the zoomed out view where it obviously depicts it as a sphere and re-renders it every time you move it. Well, at this level, it's representing the Earth as we experience it, and that's flat.
Right, it has to have drop. Remember, in their religion, 8 inches per mile squared, right? That's vertical drop. So where's the vertical drop at? Now, is Google the model? Do they have another model? We need to see that model where it has the actual happenings on it. So you need to give us that. And what's on Ballbusters this week?
On Ballbusters this week. So, yes, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley Live, it will actually be at the correct time to plug it. So, what's the day? It's Thursday. So, in 2 days' time, on Saturday, we will have Ballbusters on the Big Bang. So, it's the other side, if you will, of the ontological primitives. So, last week we rounded out the double slit and the delayed choice quantum eraser experiments respectively, and this week we'll look at the nonsense that is the narrative that goes along with the heliocentric model and its beginnings, i.e. the Big Bang. So be here or be sphere, 2 PM Central, 8 PM UK, Ballbusters live on Nathan Oakley 1980. And with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in live, for smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. If you are watching this on Nathan Oakley channel, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Also, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Sleeping Warrior, you hear me?
Yeah, man.
I was the dude that was talking to you about weight is pressure from a solid.
I recognize the name.
Yeah, so I was just trying to get some, like, I bring it up with ballers and they just, of course they won't even entertain the idea. So that's my explanation for, because everybody's like, what's the force that pulls things down? What's, they're looking for that answer. So I feel like the pressure differential, if a solid has a pressure.
They're not looking for that answer. They already have it. It's called gravity.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't care if they have evidence for it. They just have that word. That's the answer. So they're not looking for it.
Down's not an objective direction.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just it's the pressure differential. It's if you have a higher pressure, it moves it in a certain way, a lower pressure. So that up and down is irrelevant because it's just the pressure differential.
Yeah, I do agree. I prefer to call it relative density, but I get what you're saying. I think that most people struggle with this concept anyway, that gravity is so intrinsically easy for them to understand because they've had it all their lives, that when they've got to think laterally and think that maybe it's not what they tell us, they struggle with it because they can't get past gravity. My only reservation with some that involves pressure is that people do understand what relative density means. They get that the vector comes from the medium around it. And if you change that word, that phraseology, it's introducing another word. And my only reservation is that even if it makes logical and reasonable sense, the phrase relative density does work. People get it. Adding another word that makes them have to think runs the risk of convoluting a reasonably straightforward example. That's my only worry.
I feel like I'm simplifying it because I'm removing density. We don't need density. Density is just another word for higher pressure in a solid state.
But we do have density though, right?
No, density is just the pressure of the individual. So pressure is, I believe pressure is a force, okay? So you can, and people say, oh, it's force created. Bowlers will say it's not a force. All day they'll tell me it's not a force. And then I'll just be like, what force crushes a can in a hydraulic press? And then they just, they just flop around for a while. But so like if you think of like you have two types of pressure, you have the pressure that the medium exerts everywhere, and then you're also going to have the pressure that it's exerting on its walls. Okay, right? Mm-hmm. So a solid, a gas will exert its pressure in an unlimited volume in an unlimited shape. So no matter what shape, no matter what volume, gas will do its pressure in that. A liquid will give its pressure in unlimited shape, but a set amount of volume. So that's the pressure of the water. Now a solid is set volume, set shape, its pressure. So that's when you try and squeeze a rock, you're applying pressure to pressure. Like the pressure of the rock is what holds its place. So like to find out the pressure of a solid, you would weigh it. And pressure is pounds per square inch. Weight is pounds per square inch of surface area of the solid object. We just remove density and just apply pressure.
I'm not against what you're saying. I agree with your point. It's just the use of the word pressure is something that people don't conceptualize very easily, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm definitely right here.
No, yeah, I get you.
Hello.
I'm just trying to explain, because you can affect buoyancy force, which is air pressure, through increasing air pressure, which will decrease weight, which removes gravity from the buoyancy equation.
No, they'll say always remove it. It's always there.
But how can it always be? But we have scientific proof. We wiggled it. We changed the air pressure, which changed the buoyancy force. Vis-a-vis, unless they can change gravity and affect buoyancy force, we have scientific proof.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. That's just, I try to bring that. I don't know if I was on a debate with Fight the Flat Earth. It was a crap show. He reads a script. You try and say anything.
Yep.
He shuts you down, starts reading from the script. And he misused the genetic fallacy when I try and ask for because if you don't witness it, I was like, well, you've never witnessed any of these experiments. So how do you know they're real and it's not faith? And he's like, oh, genetic fallacy.
Are you up to speed with them Fight the Flat Earth's point on gravity with myself?
Yeah, I brought that up to him too. I was like, yo, what's with Musser? It's like, and then he was like, I was like, you're not even talking to him. And then he showed me some like he did with you, some vague screenshots. And I was like, that could be, because he showed me a phone, like George Musser in his name. And I was like, yeah, I have a guy named George Musser in my phone too. Doesn't mean it's the George Musser. So then it was just like, what's his proof? And he just strung it along.
What about the point that's in hand, Einstein gravity compared to Newtonian gravity? Do you agree or disagree that Einstein did replace Newton's gravity? He did not add to it or refine it or support it. Position.
I have to, Nathan put it better than I did, so I'm just going to revert to what he said. You take a 3D definition, how can it relate in any way to a 4D definition? It's two totally different things.
I agree.
That's John's, not mine.
No, whoever's it is, it's a knockout. Like it would be like comparing 2D to 3D. It's not the same. You can't do it.
Yeah, pseudo-Riemannian 4 space versus Euclidean 3 space. That's definitely not mine. Shout out to John. How you doing, Quantum Eraser?
So, yeah, Musser, there's no way he can deal with that. And on the whole breaking the wand in half, their thing is going to be, the breaking of the wand was the removing of the unknown magic from it. We know what it is now. It's the bending of space-time. That's how they're interpreting the breaking of the wand.
That's okay if you just have that citation in isolation. But all the other citations I gave him, like the Caltech one, the Brian Cox one, the TV one, and Moose's own other citation, they don't support that interpretation in isolation. So if you look at it in isolation, yeah, you could argue that wishy-washy. But when you add it to the other 4, you can't.
Yeah, no, I think you called it when you were like, I think he's just going to interview Musser. They're going to talk about something else, right? And then just declare that, like, oh, yeah, see?
I think he'll address it, but I think he'll deliberately swerve it, or he'll be weasel with. I think Craig is going to be weaselly because Moose's not going to know what he's coming into. So I think he's going to deliberately. He'll skirt round the point rather than dealing with it head on and saying, "Did it replace or did it support?" Because they're opposite; they're not the same. And replacing it and supporting it are not the same. And I think he's going to weasel that. I don't think he's going to address it.
He's so horrible to talk to. Like I'm like, I'll stay and talk to anybody about anything. I have tons of theories. I had to walk away. I was like, there's nothing I can do. I ask anything. It's just deflect, repeat the narrative, and then tell. It's like he wants me to disprove space. How do you prove something's fake? Like this ballers, they do this all the time. They switch the burden of proof by telling us we have to prove that it's fake somehow.
Yeah, and then when you correct them on that, they don't like that, and they tell you, well, you're right. They do always do that, but they know that that's their only way to get around their inability to prove the claim that they make.
Although you can get around that one. You can actually prove it's fake. It defies the second law of thermodynamics. It doesn't have the necessary antecedent of a container. Entropy would take effect. The gas would fill the space. Without the container, there is no pressure, etc., etc., etc.
Is there a second show, Nate?
Setting it up now. It'll be another, I don't know, at least 5 minutes with me chatting as well. Probably 10 for me to set it up, and then hopefully about 3:30 UK time we'll go. 15 minutes. Hopefully we'll be live again.
Okay.
Yes, we're done.
I was also, you heard of the Non Sequitur show?
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah, don't bother with them. No bad.
All right, so it was me. I went on there. It was a Godless Engineer and this guy MC Toon and whoever was debating at Boost something. I think he's the Non Sequitur guy. So
MC Toon's a ball earther, right?
Yeah. They're all ball earthers.
Okay.
So I started with like the burden of proof, right? So they agreed that whoever makes the claim has to provide the burden of proof, right? So then I said, if I claimed I could fly like Superman and showed you a blackboard full of math that supported my claim that I could fly like Superman, would you believe me? And all he kept saying was, I would look at the equations. He just wouldn't answer that he wouldn't believe I can fly unless he's seen it because he knows that's orbital mechanics.
Who's this? Is this Fight the Flat Earth?
No. This was MC Toon and Godless Engineer.
Godless Engineer is repulsive. The way he talks. There's a new guy as well called... let me get my Discord open. I've had a back and forth with him. His name is Respect Your Intellect. And he's another Godless Engineer prick. And I'm like, you're a fucking moron. You're preaching gravity, providing zero evidence for it, and you are literally preaching to a gospel. That's it. You are effectively a reverend.
Yeah, that's what I tried. That's what I tried on fight. I was trying to get him to admit that he has faith in orbital mechanics since he's never seen it in person. And every time we put mass in a vacuum, it just falls to the ground. So how can you believe mass floats in a vacuum and orbits other mass floating in a vacuum when you've never seen it unless you have faith? And it's just, well, he equates it with trust. And then I'm like, trust is basically optimistic faith. And and then it was just muted me, and then he preached.
It is down to just accepting bullshit mathematics as proof, and it's not. Like, I agree. You can't, just because you can calculate Santa's trajectory as he drops presents off all the way around the Earth on New Year's Eve, on Christmas Eve, does not mean Santa can do it. Like ice creams, you can't take 5 ice creams off me if I've only got 2.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, that people, I don't know. I'm sure you guys realize, but most people don't. If you just take a rock from 10 feet and drop it with a stopwatch, you can get their gravity formula. You don't need the mass of the Earth. You don't need anything except a stopwatch and dropping a rock, and you will get the acceleration constant. And on top of that,
you'd get the constant, but you wouldn't get the 9.8 meters per second squared.
Yeah, you would. That comes from timing and object falling.
Yeah, but timing is like speed equals distance over time, isn't it? That would give you a constant speed, but it wouldn't give you the rate of acceleration.
But no, you would track the speed over a different. So, like, of the 10 feet, you would track how fast it went 1 foot, the first 1 foot, then the second 1 foot. And you'd have different values for each one of those, and then you can calculate the acceleration.
Yeah. You'd have to do it in smaller intervals than a foot, but you're right. Yeah, I agree.
It takes nothing to know the math. And then this is something else. It's not, hopefully none of them are listening, but I kind of, God forgive me, I lie sometimes. I tell them that if you take the distance of Venus and Mars and switch them, but make Venus smaller and Mars bigger, everything still works out. Because
that's right.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah, you manipulate, or you're playing with Kepler's third law and interplanetary motion. You're maintaining the aspect ratio, but you're not applying values to it. Exactly. I hate these ballers. These ballers are so fucking dishonestly stupid, but they have to be, because they're pushing the narrative. I think Craig, Flat Earth, as a person, is an half decent guy. He's affable, he's friendly, he's polite, he's not vitriolic, he's not rude.
Have you seen his videos?
No, not really. Is he?
He's an asshole, dude. He's an asshole.
Is he?
Prick, man.
Oh, right. Well, I don't watch his videos. Okay, well, maybe that's fine.
I can't believe you just said he's nice, he's affable, he's pleasant, blah, blah, blah. You clearly haven't watched any of his videos.
I'm just basing it based on my own experience with him. I'm not. Right, I'll retract my previous statement.
No, he was definitely pleasant with you. I saw that debate. You two were very cordial.
Yeah. What was I going to say then? I've lost my point now. I wasn't expecting anyone to disagree with me.
Well, that was the point. You was actually at that point saying about how nice he is.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I just say that I don't have a person. Oh, right, yeah. But the thing with him, right, as affable as I found him, intellectually speaking, he's either switched off and's not able to critically analyze his own work, or he's deliberately being deceptive. And it's hard to tell, because I give him the benefit of the doubt because he was affable with me. Therefore, I lean against him being dishonest. But he can't critically analyze his own work. He thinks, oh, there's so many things that he just ignores. And I'm like, it's just nonsense. How can you maintain this position without any... People bring up points to you, and you just dismiss them flippantly. And I'm like, yeah, are you being dishonest, or are you just dumb? Are you brainwashed and don't realize it?
He said what, like, in the first part of your debate, it set me off when you asked something, and he said, well, the proof is the predictions and how they come true. And I'm like, no, that's backwards engineering. You can't look at lights in the sky, say, oh, they're moving like this, and then start playing with all the numbers until you make up numbers that can fit based on, because it's just, they're just making stuff up and then just rearranging numbers until they fit. And that's what he accepts as reality. And
that sounds familiar.
Like,
at the end of a conclusion,
scientific?
At the end of most conclusions, when I'm discussing this with John or Anthony or Ranty or whoever, normally the end words are, they're just making this shit up. Which they are.
So I tell you one thing that they fucking have you seen my latest video? Heliocentrists abhor scientific method.
I think so.
You start talking scientific method with them, cause and effect. They fucking hate it. They'll accuse you of being a quantum eraser fan, and just literally pull the definition up for pseudoscience. It says if it's not based on scientific method, it's pseudoscience. That removes the quantum eraser link, right, which thwarts their counter. And then get it back on track and say, right, can you demonstrate cause and effect here? If you believe that this is the cause, can I see that? Can I see it? And obviously, you can't get cause and effect for things like curvature or gravity or axial rotation, and they are fucked. So they resort to ad hominem, like you're guilty by association with by referencing scientific method. They don't like it.
That's because if you apply the scientific method to anything, like even something as simple as like I have a legit, what I consider a legit scientific experiment that proves that water rolls off of an object because of the shape, not because of the size or anything else. So you take different objects of different densities, sizes, and shapes, right? Bowl-shaped, round-shaped, ones with concave, all different, and you just start pouring water, and you'll notice the concaved ones always hold water, right? And they'll claim scale. And then what they'll tell me in my experiments, like, well, did you test every size ball there is? And I said, yeah, well, one Earth size. I'm like, well, you can't test it. So why so now because we can't test it, that automatically means it can be doing what we never see.
Just, I'll give you a tip though. Don't refer to it as the scientific method. Refer to it as scientific method. Because the minute you say the scientific method, they always come back
I just got back.
But there is more than one.
What?
And like,
what in the world?
There is more than one.
Oh, Jesus. Just as I was about to close out the after show and start the next one, I have to take the hangout off mute because you say something like that, Anthony.
The scientific method. That's what it is. The definite article. I told you about that before.
I know, but they attribute it to John's scientific method.
I don't care who they attribute it. There's only one scientific method. There's no S on the end of that D, right? Method. That should have given the game away.
And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who have joined us in the premiering Nathan Oakley stream, for tuning in, smashing the super chat, hopefully, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff. Also, of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. If you'd like to keep up to date with the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!